This is the youth group over at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Okay, picture this. After countless hours of searching the internet, you finally come across the perfect dream shoe. Without hesitation, you buy it in the right size, and for the next 2 weeks, that's all you can think about. You've watched all the review videos, all the sizing tips. Needless to say, you're excited. Finally, you get a text from FedEx saying that the brown package has been delivered. You run home, you rip it open, you flip off the lid, and you peel back the crinkly shoe paper. There they are. Truly, this is the epitome of human happiness. I know that I've experienced this many times, and I'm sure that many of you have as well. Whether the incentive is originality, comfort, looks, blending in, or standing out, whatever it may be, you should tune into this information because I'll help you understand the process your shoe will go through in the market. That way you can cash in on the best deals for the best shoes at the best time. So, hopefully after the end of this, you and your friends will be looking like these guys. This is Kanye West and Virgil Abloh, two major fashion influencers in the world. Sure, you don't need an introduction. And so, who better to listen to than someone who has literally spent thousands of dollars and hours on the subject? I personally have a great passion for this, and I think listening to someone with a passion for something is better than listening to someone without one, so they don't just ramble on. Therefore, I think I'm capable of relaying valuable information. So, in this speech, I want to explore the shoe patterns and culture, and particularly in the market. When a shoe is released, it will experience buying and selling patterns that, when understood, can be applied to one's buying experience. So today I'll be covering the past and current shoe trends, buying and selling patterns on the market, and how you can apply this information next time you cash in on a fresh pair of kicks. So with that, let's get into it. Jordans. So, when I think of a trend, I think of Jordans. Jordans kind of epitomize the definition of a trend. They've had a major influence in shoes for the last decade, ever since they were really released. Jordan is a brand or affiliate under Nike, and they produce Jordans, obviously. This is a Jordan 4 specifically. They're one of my favorites, and you see a lot of people wearing them. I'm sure many people don't know what many people do know what Jordans are. Few people don't know what Jordans are. My dad and grandpa probably know what a Jordan is. So Jordans kind of define what a trend is. Another major trend, especially upcoming, has been chunky dad shoes. If you'll direct your attention to my feet, this is a great example. It's a Yeezy 700. And what I think has made these popular in the trends is because they're comfortable and they provide an alternative look to the traditional Jordan. I personally think they're very fashionable. I love wearing them. They're comfortable, and I don't see too many people wearing them, so I think this is what makes them such an ideal shoe. And then additionally, there are some miscellaneous trends, such as Adidas Sambas, Nike Dunks, Doc Martens, loafers, and then that comfort look. According to Aisling Greer, founder of Fashionably and professional stylist, when it comes to choosing your sneakers this summer, it's all about soccer shoes. The It sneaker changes every year, or even twice a year, but overall we've been moving towards slimmer, single-tread styles. So why does this info matter? Because it dictates what becomes expensive and inexpensive. When a shoe is trending, it becomes more expensive because the demand goes up. When demand goes up, the price goes up. And so with that, now that we understand trends, let's dive into some graphs. So, first, to understand some buying and selling patterns on the market, you're going to need to understand some shoe nerd lingo. So mainly this is cop, drop, GR, and backdoor. So cop is kind of goes outside of shoe culture as well, but it basically means to get something, just to buy something. So if you say you're copying a shoe, it means you're buying it, basically. A drop is a really important term to understand. It basically refers to a retail release, which is when the original brand will drop a shoe. So for example, Nike will drop these, they'll drop them at a retail release. That's what it's referred to as. Then there's GR, so GR stands for General Release Shoe. These are shoes that are kind of made for the general public. They're high in stock, so because of that, they become cheaper. The opposite of this would be like a collaboration, where they're more expensive, which is actually what this shoe is. And then finally, it's backdooring. Backdooring is a process resellers do, where they obtain pairs before an actual drop happens, which means the price is up because the pairs on the market are so limited. So now that we understand some vocab, we can start analyzing some graphs. Once the market calms down, becomes stable or consistent, according to StockX.com, a major reselling platform, before the 125-day mark, Jordan 1 resale prices hold steady, bobbing right around their baseline retail price, release price, which, by the way, isn't for this shoe. As you can tell, 1K is not the retail price. It's 175, but this is kind of an exception because it's a really valuable collaboration that was super high in demand on release. But basically, as every 4 months passes by, it's going to experience another up, and then this continues to happen over time. So as you can see over here, past 8 months, this might be the 12-month mark, it's gone way higher than when at the resale prices at the actual retail release. So this comes into the whole concept of supply and demand. Supply and demand is basically just the more supply there is, the less the price is. The more demand there is, the higher the price goes as well. So as you can see here, a collaboration is going to be super limited. People are going to struggle to get them, which means the price is going to go up. And not to mention, demand for these was extremely high. That's why the resale prices is literally $2,000. So now that we understand the graphs, let's apply it to our lives. So the best way to buy a shoe is going to be at retail. Retail is the best way, but it's kind of more complicated than that because resellers will interfere with this. Resellers, basically what they do is they found a business in the shoe game where if you buy a shoe at retail, and then because the demand is so high and the price goes up after retail, they can resell it for more than they got at retail, which means they're making a profit. And if you can get multiple pairs of this, then you can make some serious money off of this. So, an example of this would be the Reverse Mocha Travis Scott Air Jordan 1. According to Complex.com, John Donahoe, Nike's CEO, stated that July's Reverse Mocha release with Air Jordan 1 Low broke a record of the most member entries for a draw. Donahoe confirmed 3.8 million draws for the entry, which is a ton of people. Not to mention some of those are actually bots, which resellers use to obtain the pairs, but that's not very fair. Anyway, so because of the extremely high demand, this shoe has skyrocketed in resale, and that again comes into the basic concept of supply and demand. These have a relatively low supply and very high demand. So the resale prices, I think right now, are about $1,500 for this pair. So you're probably not going to make money off of that because it's going to be super hard to obtain at retail. So we're going to go to the Yeezy Slides, which retail for $70 and then they resell for about $200. So, and they're pretty readily available, so you can get those somewhat easily. But that's a good way for you to make money. And so I know that many of you may think that this is silly, but I hope you found this information interesting. Unlike the inexhaustible demand for shoes and the endless money that I spend on shoes, this speech must come to an end. So, through understanding past and current shoe trends, as well as the buying and selling patterns on the market, I hope that we can apply this to our own footwear buying habits and ideas, and I hope that you cop your next drop. I can take your questions now if you have it. Yes?
Wait, where do you think are some of the best retailers to get shoes from?
So it depends on what brand you're going to go for, but Nike and Adidas are the biggest shoe retailers in the market. Sometimes you can find like third-party retailers such as Dick's Sporting Goods is a retailer. But yeah, Nike and Adidas are going to be the main ones. And some of the when I say hype, I mean more demanding shoes are going to be online. And you enter those retails by entering in raffles, like the Air Jordan 1s that I was talking about. And it's going to be, basically it's a chance that you're taking. But if you win it, you can make some serious money off of crazy low demands. Yes?
What does the shoe market look like outside of the U.S.?
Outside of the U.S., I actually don't know, but I'll have to get back to you on that. Yes?
What would you say determines how expensive a shoe can be, besides just their collabs?
So this goes again back into supply and demand. One thing a company will do is they'll play with the hype levels, is what it's called to, which again is just demand. So hype, what a company will do, Nike does this a lot, where they'll build up a release so they advertise it and market it to where many people know about it, and they basically get more excited and people will be talking about it. Over time, the hype and demand will increase, and then when it comes to the retail, basically it's going to be crazy because everybody wants that shoe. That's one thing that drives up the resale prices for a shoe. So for example, those Travis Scott, I'll go to it. These ones. These ones are reselling for $2,000 because the collaboration was so well done, which $2,000 is obviously a ton, but yeah, that's how the resale works. Any other questions? That's it. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here.